So I thought it might be fun to kind of talk about how I've set up my palette while I refill some of these, because as you can see, some of them are very empty. Um, so I like to mix a lot of my own colors, so I basically just have kind of like your basic primaries in here with a few colors that I either have trouble mixing, like the bright turquoise, or like colors I mix a lot. So I either have bought tubes of them or I mix them and put them in these pans. Um, but starting off, I'm just topping off my whites because they're all pretty empty. I have 3 whites in my palette because I like to have one that's just kind of for like highlights and things that doesn't get tainted with colors, one for mixing warm colors, and one for mixing cool colors so that though the mixing colors get less muddy. I found 3 really works for me, so that's what I use. Not all of these are completely empty, but I'm just topping them off while I'm here because I've hit the bottom of the pan. I will have to mix a few of the colors again, like the light green and the orange. So you'll get to see how that process goes, but I'll probably do it at the end. I just have all of my tubes in this really pretty dish, and I leave them here until I need them. I'm just gonna, that hurt. Go ahead and put a little bit of the green in there because I'll use that to mix the light green. I actually am just now realizing I might be out of one of these colors. Yeah, my burnt sienna is very low, which is fine because I don't really like this brand of gouache, so now I get to replace it with a better brand. But let's see if I can get anything out of this tube. It's really hard to open because it's been closed for so long. Actually, sometimes, yep, I did. I already bought a replacement. So I do that all the time. I need to replace this in the future, and yeah, that's done. I'll be like, I need to replace this, and then I'll replace it, and then I'll forget I replaced it and buy another one, which is why I have so many tubes of white, because I bought like 3 or 4 at once, and these ones are basically gone. But yeah, sometimes I just forget I've been productive. That's a nice brown. I'm actually going to put a little bit of the brown in here also because I want to mix up the nice like neutral gray that I use. That's a mix between the brown and this dark blue here. When I figure out which dark blue that is, I will let you know. I have a lot of blues, as you can see. Let's get the blues now because they're on top. So I've got these 3 blues. I know the whole bean cyan is that color, and that's looking good, so I don't need to worry about that right now. But then it's between these 2, but everything hurts to open. It's all been closed for so long. There's enough of the dried paint on the top that I should be able to color match and see which one's which. I'm thinking the one I use the most is the Winsor & Newton Ultramarine. Yes, it definitely is. Okay. So, fill that up. It's just a nice dark blue. And for a long time, I painted with very, like, greenish blues. And I didn't have a good, like, purpley blue. And I think the Winsor & Newton Ultramarine is a really good... It's not purple, but it's got more purple to it than the blues I usually use. And I'll just go ahead and throw some of that in here also. Try and aim for like a 1-for-1, but I'll take what I get when I mix. So I also have 3 yellows. I have what's supposed to be a yellow that stays yellow, a yellow for mixing with like oranges and reds, and then a yellow for mixing with greens. Sometimes they all end up green because I use green a lot. But they're mostly all looking okay. This warmer yellow, which is the medium yellow from Reeves, I'm also working on running out of so I can replace with a better brand. Again, so hard to open. My soft hands can't do this. I have to use my shirt. Wow, that's on really tight. Okay. But I love this like warm mustardy yellow. Okay, so I have to mix up my orange, and I need some yellow for the light green. So I have several yellows. I think I'm gonna use I'll use the lemon yellow from Reeves just to help get rid of it on the light green, because I want that to be a little cooler, and this lemon yellow is really cool. But on the orange, I'm thinking I'm going to use this brilliant yellow from Daler Rowney, because it's already got kind of like a warm tone to it. And right now I'm just kind of like globbing the paint in here, but don't worry, I will actually mix it together at the end of the process. And the green is really strong, so I definitely use more of the yellow, and I'll probably end up throwing some white in there just to really have a light green and have a difference between it and the dark green. The trouble with the orange is going to be there's already still so much of it left in here, and I just know there's no way I'm going to mix the same color, so it'll be a little different, but that's kind of what I like about my palette, is it gets messy and the colors mix together, and I'm personally okay with that. I know some people aren't, but I like it. Also really running low on this black. Forgot colors for a second. So we're going to top that off. I technically should mix more purple that I'm covering up with my hand right now, but purple's not really a color I use very often, and I don't feel like mixing it. I might before this video is over, so we can always come back to it, but for now I'm just not going to worry about it. I need to fill up my red, which I believe, I don't think it's the deep pink, but it might be. This is my problem. I never mark my colors, so I don't know what's in my palette, really. I don't think it's the pink red. I think it's still this. So we'll fill it up with this. And when this runs out, I'll either get another red color or I'll move on to this deep pink. Because it's close to red, but it's got some of those cooler colors in it. Or this tube will be completely dry and I have to fight with it, so I'm not gonna fight with it. And we'll move on to the deep pink now. And it'll mix with the red that's already in here, and it'll be a slower transition, so that'll be great. But it's a gorgeous color, so I'm not mad about it. Okay, so, oh, I do need some for the orange. Guess we'll see what color that makes. Actually, yeah, no, we're gonna use this. Because I like playing around, but I think using that scarlet would be too much. So let's see what that gives us. Okay. I think that's everything I wanted to refill. My yellows are kind of low, but they're not empty yet. So I'm not going to worry about it. So now I'm just going to grab some paintbrushes that aren't totally crusty and disgusting on the bottom, because I use the backs of my paintbrushes to mix paint all the time. So not these. I'm going to use these ones, and I will mix up all the colors. I need 3. Okay, that'll work. Alright, so I guess let's just start with the orange, because it's right here. Ooh, that's very red. The red is so strong, which is why I usually end up with colors that aren't exactly what I wanted doing this, but I work with them and I can always mix in colors as I'm painting anyway, so it's not really the end of the world. And I have like 5 tubes of yellow, so I'm not too precious about having to put more in there. Because, as you can tell, I do use these colors. Ooh. This is where I'm just talking about the messy. It gets everywhere. Like, it'll spill over to the other pans, or like into this channel, and it's just messy. But that's becoming a really nice orange color. I gotta mix it really slowly and carefully because there's so much in here. Ugh. Okay, that is a gorgeous orange color, and I'm really happy with that. I just really don't want to knock it all out everywhere. And it'll like shrink a little as it dries, so it'll be fine. It'll be fine. And then just because there's so much still on this paintbrush, I'm just gonna try and get it into one of these little cubby things. Okay. And then wipe it off so it doesn't get all gross and crusty like those other ones. And then it's done. Okay. Now let's do this like brownish gray color that I'm gonna use. I mix this color all the time. When I don't want like the black, I mix the burnt sienna and the ultramarine, and it gives me a really nice, rich, dark color. I think I might add some more brown to this just because it's very, very blue. But I decided I mixed this color so much that I might as well have it in one of my pans already mixed. And that's kind of how I've built my palette, is just like, I was about to add more blue to this and that would have been a disaster. I started with just the one side, and as I painted, I discovered colors I wanted to have more readily available, or that I just like didn't have in my palette, and so I've built it up over a while. And now it's become colors that I really like and I use in almost every painting. For the longest time, I didn't have a tube of green. I always was like, I have to mix my own green. I can't use green out of a tube, which is silly and doesn't matter. It was just I had a teacher who really wanted us to mix our own colors, so that's what I got used to, and now there's too much brown in here. This is how I mix colors. Too much, all the time. But yeah, my teacher was always like, mix your own colors, so that's what I would do. This is the wrong blue. This is the problem with having so many colors. I don't even remember which one it was anymore. I know I talked about it. Here it is. You guys can't see, but there is a mess on this side. So I didn't have a green for the longest time, but I was painting all these like nature scenes, and I was mixing green all the time, and I just got so tired of it that I bought a green, and it's been really good. And if anyone tells you you have to mix your own colors, they're silly. Learning how to mix colors and knowing color theory is really good, but you're also allowed to buy tubes of colors you want, and you don't have to mix them every time. And that's really totally fine. I cannot get this color to be what I want it to be. Oh, we're gonna add more blue. I just don't want to add too much and have to add more brown because it's getting really full. But yes, welcome to chaotic color mixing with Amy. Again, I have to mix it really carefully because now the pan's so full. I don't want it to go everywhere. It's already going everywhere. It's fine. You guys can't even really see this color because it's so dark. I will try and get a better representation once I get it mixed how I would like it. Oh, it's just going everywhere. It looks so green right now, and I don't know if it's just the lighting or if it's actually green or what's going on, but alright. I think that's where we're gonna stay with that for right now, but it's so hard to see. It's just this kind of like almost black, but not quite black color. I use it all the time. And now I have a pan of it pre-mixed. And I'm just going to do the same thing, except this time I'm going to put it over here because this already was that mix. So it'll be really good right there. Okay, now the last color. I just gotta mix this light green. And hopefully this one's really easy, and I already got it in this white, and that's fine, I guess. So yeah, I was just looking for something that was a mix between the tube green, which I can say the name of. It's this Winsor & Newton olive green, and this yellow that I would use to mix a lighter green. I just wanted something a little more ready that was between those two. And so that's all I'm looking for. And I think that's great. It's good color. Just get off as much of it as I can. And then, because this one's already got green in it, and I'm not precious about anything in this palette, just scrape it off there. So along with all the colors that I have here, I also have my two Daniel Smith watercolors down here, which are those like really popular, pretty granulating ones that I don't have near me, so I couldn't tell you the name of unless they're right here. Alright, I see them. Hold on. Well, I found one of them, which is... okay. So, I just have my two Daniel Smith watercolors down here. It's the Cascade Green and the Moon Glow, kind of like purpley color. I just have them down there in that corner, and then this corner is a really cool silver gouache from De La Rowney that I don't use very often, but I just wanted it there. You know, because it's silver and it's cool. But I think, yeah, that is the end of refilling my palette. I also have these two empty ones left over, which will allow me to expand in the future, but I don't really know what I want in them right now, so they're just going to stay like this. Feel free if you have any questions to ask me in the comments down below, but I think that's the end of it for today. So thank you so much for watching along, and I hope you enjoyed it. Bye!